Peace, everyone. Ashukwu Noir, Udama Akeyor, Hete Pu, Islam, Rahubet, Halito, Ola. Wow. I'm excited today. You hear me, you can feel me. I have here with me today in the studio Ra and Ramutef will be with us in time. So for now, though, welcome to Karmic Dynasty. Once again, I am your hostess, Joy Allen, and welcome to the platform. For those of you who are new, we definitely appreciate you being here today and sharing your time with us. And at this time, I'm going to have Ra introduce himself, share with you all who he is and his greetings and how you will be able to contact him. Gratitude, I appreciate you being here, Ra. Shukwu Noir. And welcome again to Karmic Dynasty. It's always great to have you here. If you would share with the audience at this time, gratitude.
Hamud. Hamud mean that translates to gratitude. So Anuki Hamud. I am grateful. Ashukwu Nuwa Rabat Wuhatep. Um we send out love and light to Pa Pawet, which is the all. Anuki Pawet. The all is I am. Okay. Um my name is Ra or Raye, depending on what tone you use. Okay, you can find me on Instagram at XYX9 Netaru and then underscore Amira. XYX, we'll save that for maybe another show. XYX means certain a lot of us carry an extra chromosome. Okay, so XX would be your females, XY would be your males. Then you got us, XYX. You know what I'm saying? So XYX9 Netaru underscore Amira. And I'm excited to talk about. You know what? It's interesting because right before I got online, got onto the show. Another comedic channel just dropped a quick 9-minute video about movies to watch 10 minutes ago. So I want to tell you about that, Joy.
Okay. And I just corrected your IG. I had that wrong. I had XYZ. Apologies. I got you though.
XY.
XYX9
Oh,
literal. Yes.
XYZ. That's a. Is that a the Z? So the Z must be a new chromosome. Oh, a new extraterrestrial
Yeah,
chromosome.
as soon
Okay.
as you started explaining it, I was like, oh, I got this all wrong. But yes, you were speaking about the movie list on the other channel. You saw.
Yeah. As soon as while I was waiting, they were talking about I guess because they seen Karmic Dynasty and the other channels, but they were talking
Mm,
about make sure everybody watching the Meteorite movies. So which
mm,
are the new ones. The new ones that everybody needs to watch out for is okay. Greenland came out earlier. Okay, so everybody get write down. Get up. Right, take notes, whether it be mental or physical notes, however it works for you. But Greenland that came out earlier, starring Gerard Butler. Okay, about an asteroid impact. Okay, um, uh, then you have Moonfall coming out with Halle Berry. You know what I'm saying? We ain't seen Halle Berry in a long time, but she's coming out. She's coming back out this time in a disaster movie. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Called Moonfall, and then Leonardo DiCaprio got a movie coming out called Don't Look Up. So we need to be checking this stuff out, and then asking ourselves why are they showing us these asteroid impact movies, and then you can tie that into um, why are the elites why do they have all these different colonies on these different worlds that they're not telling us about, which is a whole nother story, but that ties
Mhm.
into all these movies. Long story short.
Okay. Um. Now that Holly Berry movie, I heard
Mm,
you also mentioned that on you were on another broadcast recently, and they were talking about like preparation for end times or something.
right.
Young.
Young elder.
Okay, yep, young elder. So yeah, I saw you speak about that Holly Berry movie there.
Mm-hmm. That's coming out in December. So yeah, you gotta check that out. Got
Okay,
that's a matter of fact. You know, even if you're a Halle Berry fan, check it out. She ain't that movie in a long time.
right. Okay. Um. Now today we are here to speak on the new Matrix movie that'll be out in December, the fourth one. So we had part one. We're working on the second Matrix movie right now today. So that means that we will have a part three. So look forward to that. Um, and this is all in preparation for my event in December on the 25th. And I will be in Indianapolis. And that event is 3 p.m. until, and I see Ramutef coming in the studio right now. So before we get going and speaking more about the event and continuing on with the topic today, I'm going to have Ramutef introduce himself. And greetings, peace, Ramutef Queb. Welcome again to Karmic Dynasty. As always, I appreciate you being here. If you would share with everyone who you are, your greeting, and how they will be able to contact you. Gratitude.
Peace, peace, peace. I'm Grandma Subscribe. I'm a subscribe. I'm a divination practitioner. I have many divination practices. You probably all
Ramutef,
Facebook
right
as
now
well.
your background is louder than you are. I know you're at an event. We can hear it very well.
All right, what about now?
That's great.
Is that better?
That's better. Yes.
All right. I'm Grandma Subscribe. I'm Mama Subscribe. You can find me on Facebook as Grandma Subscribe. You can find me on Instagram as Grandma Subscribe. Come on, everybody. My apologies.
Gratitude. Gratitude. So yes, Ramutef Queb is at an event. Um, there he is. Look at that face. You're muted, Ramutef. In case you didn't know, your mic is muted. Okay, so this is an event he's at. I think it's a pop up. Um, and I knew he would be there today, but he's the one who came up with the Matrix event that I have going on that I shared the banner to. So I will always, as long as he's willing, have him here in the studio. Just if it's just to look at his face today, we have Ramutef Queb here with us. So again, he, the originator of the Matrix event, came from this guy right here. So gratitude for that, Ramutef Queb. And I'm definitely going to follow through and see the event through. I appreciate your recommendation for the watch party for the fourth Matrix, the Resurrection. And I look forward to being there with you and everyone else that will be at this event. And again, peaceful, respectful greetings to everyone who's here with us today in the audience section, and those who are viewing and not commenting and other things. So, um, as always, we're going to go ahead and just get started. Again, we're reviewing the Matrix Part 2. I know Ramutef Queb and I had spoke on an interesting fact for the movie, and I probably will share it for him, seeing as how he may not be able to today. And then I will share our initial thoughts, and when he is able, he will come in and do his specific viewpoint on the cast of the Matrix movie, on the interesting find that we have. So,
Hmm.
Ra, would you like to start us out, or how would you like to proceed today? Because you are the guest speaker, the star.
Okay.
So let's proceed how you see fit.
Well, um, so the Matrix. I saw the Matrix when I was younger, and it was very iconic. And if you watch it, you'll see why. But one thing I've learned recently was I'm not sure if everybody's aware. I know a lot of us are waking up to the fact, but the Matrix was created by Sophia Stewart.
Yeah, we
which is that
recognize her on the first part one, in the beginning.
okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
good. I was able. I had a chance to be on a Zoom call with her. It was me and Young Elder and a couple other people.
I've been on
Um,
a Zoom. I've been on a call with her as well.
okay, good.
Interesting.
So yeah, yeah. She's very yeah. That's a galactic priestess right there.
Mm-hmm.
Matrix 2 was good. Was interesting because we finally get a look at one thing about Matrix. The first Matrix. I want to see the so-called real world more. Even though I understand the first movie was introducing us to the virtual world and why the humans were loaded into that, but I want to
Mm-hmm.
get into the world that the I don't know if have you seen the Animatrix the Animatrix is the prequel to the Matrix and Matrix 2. Have you seen that?
No, tell me more.
Okay, the Animatrix. So they made after the Matrix 2 came out, they made something called the Animatrix. It's basically a animated not cartoon, but a computer generated animated movie that leads up to the events of Matrix 1 and Matrix 2. But we get to see more of the machine world in Matrix 2. It's interesting because in Animatrix we learn that the so-called machines. Okay, a lot of people. One thing about the Matrix that we tend to overlook. We look at the machines as being what evil. Why? Because they have enslaved the humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how most people would look at it. But if you look at but you have to go back and see what happened. You know what I'm saying? What happened
Okay.
was the machines were created. First of all, the machines were created by a black. We're talking about in the Matrix universe. The machines were created by a black dude. Okay,
Mm.
which I
Yep.
find interesting. The machines were first created to be house slaves. Okay, that just like right now we got what do we have right now in a house? A lot of the upper class they have those. A lot of them have um robotic housemaids that they sweep and they can vacuum clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the Matrix, that's why the machines were initially created to be slaves to the humans. Okay,
Mm.
long story short, what happened was some white lady, she got mad at her slave at her machine slave, and she attacked the machine, and the machine defended itself and killed the white lady. So after that, it sparked a protest. Right. Long story short, the machines were banned to Africa. You know what I'm saying? Which that's very interesting. Okay, all the machines were gathered
Mm-hmm.
and they were forced to go back to Africa. Okay.
Wow.
Long story short, while the machines were in Africa and they were booming. Why? Because number one, they're machines, so they have a higher level of science than the normal humans on the planet. So the
Okay.
machines, what they were doing, they're making products, like they're making cars, they're making all type of shit, and they're making better cars and selling them for less money. So they would make cars and shit like that and sell them to the
Mm-hmm.
world for less money, which was crashing the economy of the humans. Long story short,
Wow.
crashing the economy. So the humans said, "Fuck this." So what they did, the humans decide to launch a nuclear attack on the machine's homeland. Long story short, they
Mm-hmm.
bombed their ass, and we're not talking about regular bombs. We're talking about nuclear bombs. But long story short, they're machines, so they're kind of built to withstand that because machines don't have flesh. You know what I'm saying? So they can
Right.
they can deal with a nuclear atomic bombing.
Mm-hmm.
So after the machine nation recovered from the atomic bombing from the humans, the machines came out. Look, they created their own army, and long story short, they spread out in all directions, and they could not be stopped. They was wiping the humans out. You know what I'm saying? They were angry. They got bombed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? First you make us slaves, then you kick us out, and now you nuclear bomb us. So they
Dang.
created an army and they spread out. They spread out in all directions, conquering
Mm.
each nation. You know what I'm saying? Killing everybody. Long story short. So what the white man did, he blocked out the sun. Okay, he
Yeah.
blocked out the sun, right?
Sounds
That's what they're
familiar.
doing right now, right?
Right.
So in the
Mm-hmm.
right in the Matrix, you see Morpheus tell you that it was the humans that blocked out the sun. That's because the machines were running on solar energy. So the humans was like, you know what? If we can block out the sun, then maybe we can stop this relentless advance. Long story short, because the machines that were wiping them out, they were about to wipe out humanity. They were angry. They say, you know what, about to wipe you out. Forget it. So they blocked out the sun. So what happened was the machines slowed down a little bit, and then they decided, you know what, we can get all the power we need from these evil humans. So they plugged it. So they made these farms and they plugged their ass in. And you notice you don't see a lot of white people. You don't see a lot of black people plugged into the machines. If you pay attention to that, you know what I'm saying? To those battery farms, you don't see too many Nubians plugged into the machines. Long story short, so if that's why we got to get out of this whole falling for uh the villain, thinking that the villain is a bad person. When the whole time that's why you have to go back, and there's always another side of the story. Long story short, so the reason why I brought up Animatrix, because when I was watching the Matrix 2, we get a better look at the machine world, and then Zion. Okay, you know, a biblical name of the last city, and we're over here feeling bad for these people because they're over there in Zion looking all poor. You know what I'm saying? And they're eating bad, long story short, and we feeling bad for them. Like, damn, these machines are so evil. But it was the humans that started all that, so it's their fault. And that's how I look at the Matrix on that level. Long story short.
Interesting. Ramutef, did you have something you wanted to share at this time?
You hear me?
Yes.
Uh, so yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of that. So when I watched it, I thought it was very interesting of how they were doing everything. Like the scene, the one particular scene is when the children going into this one sector in a sense, and it was giving them in a sense abilities. That part I thought was very interesting because it's like an anomaly. It was an anomaly in the matrix in a sense. So it's like in a sense if you look at it in current day living, in a sense, you're starting to notice certain people having that same type uh, of abilities, like when it comes to really for seeing or feeling or vibing. When it comes to that whole machine thing, like that's the part that kind of cracked me up the most is seeing that, like, yeah, like we as humans in a sense started it, like we start everything else. Not saying us in general, but those they who are the opposing forces, they find ways to keep conflict going. And then when you built life and you disgrace life, that life is going to come back and try to rule everything because it's basically, what's that line? I'm trying to think of the line. Um, they justify their actions. The weak justify their actions towards the strong to take over. And when they figured out what made us tick and they found out that our energy is something that they can live off of, then that's when they started doing the whole, Terminator thing, basically capturing people, some people, and killing the rest. Because I don't know if it's like that whole, I forgot what movie that was. Almost like what's that movie, World War Z, in a sense. The those who were affected went against just anything, but those who were, basically on death's doorway, those beings or those infected people left those beings alone, in a sense. And it comes to the level of capture. When it comes to dealing with the matrix itself, it's just showing in a sense of how most of us are still trapped, like literally still trapped. And the more that we start exploring into this topic, the more we can start unveiling those those chains, or how you say, lifting those chains.
Okay.
And I want to one thing I want to add.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's interesting. Do you guys notice that in order for the agents to in the Matrix, once you're loaded into the Matrix, in order for the agents to take over somebody, they had to be um They can only take over certain people. They couldn't take over everybody's so-called avatar. Because there's a scene in the movie where the agents are multiplying literally by touching people. You know what I'm saying? Absorbing themselves and basically transforming those regular citizens into clone Agent Smiths. And
So,
and
it's like the
that's
boards
very
and all that,
resonating. And
like
that's
the
very
boards.
resonating because that, a lot of people, huh?
No, I was saying it was like the boards, like how the boards assimilate people.
Right, who
Like,
exactly who have a lower vibration.
mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of people and that's why it's very important to, if you had a certain vibration, protect yourself by keeping company with people on that same vibration. Because somebody on a lower vibration turn around, be an agent, backstab you, snitch on you. You see what I'm saying?
And it's like, and it's more so those who are still plugged in, because the only
Right.
way they can take control over your body in a sense, or make you go or make that cognitive dissonance kick in, is like those are the individuals who are still plugged in, and it's just like those who are still plugged in are literally just not even potential are agents, no matter what. Everyone who's still, in a sense, in that world, seriously, is if you're still plugged in, if you're not basically unplugged in a sense, you're you're agent by default.
But by default, and that transcends, and this where it goes beyond race. It goes beyond black and white, because you have black
Hmm.
agents too. You know what I'm saying? Yep, yep. You know what I'm saying? We already understand that the Adamite Mukasu Caucasian, this is their system. Okay, so they are the agent Smiths. But you also have a lot of, I call them Negropeans. You know what I'm saying? Black agent Smiths. They'll tell you. They'll do the same thing to you. Matter of fact, my worst encounter with the police, it has not been with no white. It has not been with no white cop. Been with a black cop. My worst encounter. My worst encounter with the police. You see what I'm saying? So we can be big agent Smiths.
True, swear. And I've been having a couple of encounters for the past couple of weeks. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. I definitely know what you're talking about for real. Definitely.
The
It's
worst.
like,
Yeah, the
damn.
worst. The worst ones. See, white cops. When white cops, I'm not trying to deviate. I'm trying to show you. The black agent Smiths. White
No
cops. When I
such
get pulled
thing as
over, they
deviation.
still give me.
Do say what you say. Do
Fair
what
enough.
you
Fair
do.
enough.
Gratitude.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. But real quick, the white cops, they're not nice, but they're more robotic. You're speeding. How you doing, sir? Da, da, da. Here's your ticket. I'm out of here. But see, black cops be, bad attitude, aggressive, mean. You see what I'm saying? Long story short. But I say that to, we can be the biggest agent Smiths, especially the black Christians. That's why black Christians are very dangerous. You gotta stay away from them motherfuckers, because they're worse than those are real agent Smiths, because now they're under the spell of Jesus. And if you watching,
Mm,
there's a scene in the Matrix too. There's a church. There's a church in the Matrix.
mm, hmm.
There's a church in the Matrix. If you so you mean to tell me you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you're going to church? Mm-mm-mm. For all my video gamers out there, that's like playing Grand Theft Auto. It's like playing Grand Theft Auto, and you walking your ass in that church, and you're worshiping that video game Jesus Christ God figure in Grand Theft Auto. It's the same concept. It's
Mm,
ridiculous, and that's what's going on. That's what's essentially. Sorry, That's what's going on. That's why Matrix is so iconic, because that's exactly what's going on. We are plugged into a holographic reality. Okay, a hologram. Just like if you go watch Star Trek. Matter of fact, go on YouTube, type in Star Trek holodeck. Okay, a hologram can be built to perfection. You are experiencing the ultimate hologram designed by a supreme mind. You know what I'm saying? Long story short. Okay, so the move in the Matrix is showing you that they're getting to a level of technology where they can create these near perfect uh holographic realities that are mirroring this reality we're experiencing. But this is still a matrix. You know what I'm saying? The body in this world, the body, and most people already know this, but the body is just an avatar, okay, being driven by the soul. You know what I'm saying? The etheric. So we say akaba or ba. You know what I'm saying? The soul, right? But it gets deeper. The soul is an ethereal being. It's an Etherean. Okay. and it comes from a higher dimension, and it's using a body to interact with this world. Long story short, hits the Matrix. And there's an ancient Kemetic proverb that a lot of people know. A lot of people know about: be in this world, but don't be of it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a gamer, so that translates to Grand Theft Auto. Have fun with it, experience what you got experience, but don't get too hooked. It's just a temporary holographic reality. It's the Matrix, and that's why everybody's getting. That's why everybody's so big on, watch the Matrix. Watch the. Not a lot of people have seen Matrix Part Two. More people should check it out because it gets deeper. Um, it introduces a lot. Is this okay? Sorry about that. I'm actually watching the trailer to Matrix 4, but it introduces a lot. But everybody can relate to that because everybody's starting to understand this whole avatar holographic reality that you were experiencing.
So yeah, let's go ahead and go in the second one real quick. So in the second one was more so on the level of what you call it, making that choice. It's like you come to a point in, you come to a point in your life, right? In that point, you found God, or if you found something. Now you have that choice to make, and there's only two ways. Even though we're are on a lot of spiritual basis is basically a crossroads. You're standing in the middle. You got four directions to go. Whatever path you go, it is going to lead you to that path or whatnot. Or you're going to take that path. Everyone has their choices or their pathways that they must take through their life. So in this particular one, it was about re-entering the program again. Same concept. They've been losing and losing and losing and killing and killing and killing, and they're going to allow a certain amount of humans to stay outside the matrix, and the rest of them has to be plugged back in, or how do you say, a soft reboot, or more so a hard reboot. And then that choice is because the human emotions, or dealing with Neo's particular soul, since he was unplugged from the matrix, and from him coming unplugged from the matrix, he was able to tap into, I could just say, his higher self. I'll just call it that. From him experiencing his higher self, he was able to notice different things, see the codes, all that stuff. When he got to meet the architect, but before they got to the architect, they went into the realm of, you know, demons, ghosts, werewolves, and vampires and things of that nature. Because this is during the time of the underworld, uh, the underworld journey is what I call it. Because
Mm.
the same time underworld was going on, Matrix came out first, and then the underworld just started taking off. So black trench coats for everyone, but more so embracing, how you say, the I don't want to say, I don't even call it the dark side, but embracing oblivion is basically what they're representing. Their representation was representing the darkness, coming to the darkness to find oneself, to understand that light came out of darkness. That's the whole concept that they were given, in a sense. Moving forward, they met. I forgot who the guy's name was, but he was like a basically the count, I guess. And then he had a team of werewolf, ghosts, and other vampires and other just creatures, right? Things that they tell stories or myths about. And sorry to tell you though, these individuals are real, but not in the sense of what we know it to be. They have a
Hmm.
certain type of uh, mistelling of people's stories, or their beings, or their kind, or their abilities. So, for instance, when Neo was fighting, it was the one of the first fight scenes. I want to say it was one of the first fight scenes in the movie. Yeah, it was one of the first fight scenes. Oh, no, no, no. Am I thinking of the third one? Yeah, I'm thinking of the third one. The third one was the one when they was finding the. No, no, no. It was the second one. Yeah, it was the second one. I'm getting it mixed up. But yeah, long story short, they go into that. You get to explore Zion a little bit. You get to see what the people are going through outside of the Matrix, in a sense, and into the what they call the world of the real, in a sense, and understanding that they don't see daylight. All they see is machinery, no matter where they go. everything is for them, living in caves and things of that nature, and that's a biblical, play on biblical terms of the end of times and things like that nature, where people are going to go inside the caves and things of that nature because everything got basically destroyed or the environment's attacking everything. And then in their case, with them
Mm.
blocking out the sun, basically they're left to a barren wasteland because there's no energy but the energy from the center of the earth, basically keeping everything alive. And then yeah, there we go. There's the architect. So that I like this scene the most because it's like he's showing you, the architect is showing you everything about yourself and your past lives and your other versions of yourselves and things of that nature. And he told him straight up, every version came to this point and they made a choice, and that choice has always has been go through this pathway, allow certain survivors to survive. Everybody else gets to go back into the matrix. But then you go through this other door, and it's an anomaly. It becomes an anomaly where you basically choose your own path moving forward. And he warned them basically like everybody, the person, his love interest is going to die no matter what you do. It's an
Mm.
algorithm that's always been set. And he's telling them straight off rip, like every person who even tried to do what you're doing, that same love interest that they have in every version of yourself, that love interest dies.
Mm. 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 Mm.
And Neil tried his best to save her, which he did. Because any other time, that version right then and there was the end of all end alls for her. Hence why they had to make the third one. But what he did was he inserted him. Well, when she died, in a sense, and there was a big scene. He was flying, Mach wave, light speed, all kinds of crazy stuff. Had a whole tornado or a whole nature's wrath coming that way when he went to go save Trinity. And when he saved her, what he did is something that was very interesting. Where he went to her soul or her ob, which is her heart, and kickstarted it, gave it a
Mm. All
spark
right.
again, and brought her back to life. Not just in the avatar, but also in you know her true self, in a sense. And then as the journey went on, he ended up getting, how you say, trapped in a place where it's like almost like a subconscious. He ended up getting trapped in the subconscious because whatever he did to Trinity in the Matrix allowed him to have those same type of abilities in the real world, or in the what they call in his true self. And then they, the whole Nebuchadnezzar went down and things of that nature, which was a play on biblical, not biblical, on historic events in a sense. Because then with Nebuchadnezzar,
Mm.
Nebuchadnezzar, and things of that nature, those are names of conquerors, people who conquered our people. And for them to have a ship named Nebuchadnezzar is just like, yeah. At first, I ain't even gonna lie, until I started really reading into it, and that was just like what 5 years ago. Before then, I was just like, oh, that's a cool name for a ship, things of that nature. But all the names of the ships were kind of very interesting, and it was very interesting to me. The names of each of everyone's ship, their ships were named after certain beings or certain historical figures, and I want to say majority of them are conquerors of
Mm.
not even just our people, but just people who try to conquer or succeed in certain areas of conquering. And for them to for their ship to go down, I thought that was just funny. When I watched it again, I thought that was just hilarious to me. But long story short, he had the ability to basically shut a machine off or a sentinel. He shut a sentinel off, and with him doing that, it sent his consciousness back into the matrix because whatever electrical current was going on, and you got to remember, they live or survive off of our energy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And from that, it sent him into the matrix without him even being plugged into something, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then goes into the third one, and then that's when the third one goes into how Smith not only can assimilate himself in the Matrix, but he can also assimilate himself in, you know, the true being, or true being in a sense. And I thought that was interesting because when I first seen it, because I remember the ending, I was just like everybody else, like, who is this dude that's, you know, who is Survivor? Like, you had Neo's body and then you had somebody else's body with it. And it's like, we ain't never seen, like, me personally, I ain't never seen him. The first time I watched it, it was like, who's this guy? Like, why is he with them? And then lo and behold, we find out that, you know, Agent Smith basically infiltrated, and, you know, that's the start of the third one.
Right. He was able to upload himself into the real world. That was very interesting. Mm.
That was there. I thought that was just like, oh, okay, I see where you guys are going. Like, it's cool that you had that crazy battle scene, crazy CGI battle. Like that, it was cool. I ain't gonna lie, it was cool. But it's just like, damn, like the epic CGI battles is just like really taking over. But the way that they were doing things was very, you know, I don't want to say it was its first in its time in a sense, but they did a lot of firsts. I can definitely say that they definitely did a lot of firsts in all three movies, for real. When it comes to the storytelling, because the storytelling was good until towards the end of the second one. The third one was more so like we're we were supposed to bring it to a certain way, but we have to, you know, kind of drag it out somehow, some way. That was like the third one. But the first one was more on, you come into a world, you start to figure out like certain things are off. Then once you start to see those things that are off, you start to go and research. And once you find out what you find, you understand that you have a bigger hole to deep. And the deeper your goal is going to become endless. By the same time, you always need to go back to the front of the entrance to make sure that nothing else changes behind you or nobody closes the door as you go deeper. And for him, it was
Mm.
when he got killed. What the hell? Why is everybody? What? Can you hear me? My back.
You good.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, while he does that, um,
I want to. Oh, go ahead.
you had spoke on, because I don't like interrupting y'all. I'll just wait till I get a break like this. You mentioned the Christian agents,
Mm.
and I wanted to share with everyone
Mm-hmm.
my huh.
No, yep. Go ahead.
I wanted to share with everyone my upcoming series. Part one is called Jesus is a Horse, but of course, that's December 1st. That's a Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I need y'all to tune in. I need y'all to know. What don't be an agent. And Rod is
Mm.
speaking on that
Uh-oh.
today. I just need y'all to know. And it start December 1st. I'm going all throughout December talking about they Jesus. Somebody gonna hear me. So I'm gonna pull at least one out of their agent role. That's my goal. At least one.
Right, and
You were
then
gonna say?
like the uh, so two things. Um, two things. I want to talk about the agent, but I want to talk about something that Ramutef was talking about. He was saying we were talking about how Agent Smith was able to upload himself into the to so-called real world. So he was able to download upload his consciousness into a human avatar. Um, and you gotta understand, Agent Smith is an artificial intelligence because that entity was created within the Matrix. So it's an AI, right? So now what's going on in this world is you got beings who can generate. They have the technology. They can generate a consciousness, okay, using computers. Long story short, and what they've been doing, they've been generating these consciousnesses using these computers, and then they've been sending them into like babies, okay, little Caucasian babies. They've been basically beaming into
Mm,
Caucasian babies these computer generated consciousnesses.
mm,
So that's why you have a lot of white folks who are very robotic and are very they're literally they're agent Smiths because they were literally created to be the servant of a system. So you got a lot of these, so a lot of them. What happens is they just get programmed to be a doctor, or they get programmed to be a nurse. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
programmed programmed to be, they get programmed to be a police officer. So that's why let me tell you something. That's why a lot of that's why when you get into Nubian Kemetic doctrine, it comes off as racist because we're not really acceptive of other people. Not because we're racist, we're just like, oh, we don't like you, because we have a deeper level of science. We know what's going on with you. We know that you're not even a real soul in a body. Why are we going to invite a
Mm-hmm.
soulless being into our sacred orders? Because it's the
Mm-hmm.
soul which gives us animation and which connects us to a higher divine source. So if you don't got no soul, why in the hell would you? Why would we want you to be around us? Point blank. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The lack of soul is the reason why you don't have emotions. But that is tied. But when I was watching Matrix 2, and he was able to upload his consciousness into an organic avatar, that really resonated. I was like, you know what I'm saying? They kind of showing you what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Creating these AI, put them into an organic body. Point blank. Period. You know what I'm saying? Now, so the agent again, if you're vibration, a lot of people, Earth is, it's a type of hell. You know what I'm saying? You got bad food. Um, you got evil people, blah, 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 blah. But it has lowered your vibration, our vibration significantly, which has made us slaves of the system. And when your vibration is low, you can't really detect. You don't have you can't detect that inner light, or you know what I'm saying, or that amun, you know what I'm saying, or your that soul energy of what you really are. And when you can't detect that, you seek things outside of yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of these, that's why a lot of black Christians, a lot of black Christians. Let's be honest. Okay, they're not the best people you ever met in your life. A lot of them, they're not, And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just being honest on what my observation. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't never, I don't like talking about. I don't like saying anything bad about Nubian people. Point blank. Period. Because I look at them. See, I look at them as children, but not see. But from my perspective, not in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Just from a high level of consciousness. And you're not supposed to talk about children. You're supposed to help them. And you're supposed to raise them. You're supposed to nurture. You're supposed to look after them until they wake up. Long story short. So me calling black Christians slow and mean, I don't say that easily. I'm just being honest. A lot of them are not really. When you're speaking to them, or when you're trying to teach them, they come off as not really the brightest people. And then they're always, I work with a lot of. I work with a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? They're always, gossiping. You know what I'm saying? And see, all these are lower vibrational behaviors. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens when you have a lower vibration. You're forced to deal with a lower. Um, how can you have a high vibration when you're getting? I want to. This is gonna get into religion, but how can you have a high vibration when you're dealing with a blood sacrifice religion? You know what I'm saying? When you get into that, when you look into that religion a little deeply, drinking the blood of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And then
And eating
a
his
lot of those
body.
books in his body. Like, come on now, that sounds like some Draco reptilian blood sucking suckers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when and then Leviticus is a cookbook. That's basically a cookbook. Okay, that's a cookbook how to prepare meat and prepare flesh. If your God is if you are the supreme God, why does your God need to be eating flesh in the first place? You know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to watch this movie. Well, it's not a movie. It's actually it's a 20-minute Twilight Zone episode. It is called To Serve Man. Here's the interesting thing about that. 2 years ago, you can type this in on YouTube and a bunch of these and it'll pop up. Now they took it down. Okay, so if you can find it, watch that, and you'll see why they took it down. Because now they know that we're waking up. But in that show, it's about aliens coming to Earth, right? And they come to Earth with cures to disease, high technology, new, you know what I'm saying, flat screen TV, all these goodies.
And
So the
it's
humans
called
are
what
like,
again?
yay! It's called To Serve Man. It's a Twilight
Okay.
Zone episode.
Okay. And you was talking about
Okay, so
them
the
giving
aliens
us
come to Earth.
goodies.
Yes, give me right. Came to Earth with goodies. So the humans welcome them. Okay. Now ain't nothing for there's never nothing free. That's a universal principle. That ain't no Earth ghetto principle. That's a universal principle. Ain't nothing free.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, the aliens left a book. Okay, but the white folks they couldn't decode it, so they had to hire
Mm-hmm.
this white lady, and they hired the white lady to decode the book. So the aliens had an exchange program. They say, you know what, y'all should come to our planet and come see how beautiful it is, blah blah blah. So they tricked hundreds of white people to get on their starship to go see their planet. So at the end of the movie, um, as the doors are closing for the starship to go to the other planet, the white girl's like, listen, that's a cookbook. You guys are a food source. So long story short, aliens about to take the white folks and eat them in exchange for technology.
Mm. Wow. Okay. Dang. It looked like this is still up though, so it's still people able to watch it.
I hope so. It might be the. Do you see the 20-minute version?
Oh, the 20-minute version.
Because if
Hold
you
it.
see the 6-minute version, that's probably okay.
Oh, they got a
Yeah, there it
six
is,
minute
right there. Yep, yep.
right here.
Well, yeah, that's probably like the trailer. Yeah, that's the trailer. Let me see. Okay.
It's a 25
Yep.
minutes.
Okay. Good.
It's on
Perfect. Perfect. That's
voodoo.com.
it. So when you get a chance, check it out.
Mm.
Okay, check it. Okay, cool. Well, whenever you get a chance, check it out. The listening audience, check that
Um,
out. Because guess what? They took it. It's not really easy to find on YouTube. They took it down. And
okay.
I want to tie that in to the Matrix. If you notice, a lot of beings are harvesting humans. So in the Matrix,
Mhm.
you have the machines harvesting humans,
Welcome
and then
everyone
in
to
this way, you have
Already
reptilian.
Cancelled. I am Pierre.
Oh, that's the
I don't know what that is. I'm gonna let that
okay.
go.
No, I was just
They'll find it. The
huh.
audience is straight. We straight. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I was just if you notice one thing, pay attention to the human harvesting. Okay, Matrix is all over that. Humans being harvested for their energy. Okay, and if you're watching like Doctor Sleep, uh, children are harvested for their adrenochrome. So Matrix ties back into this whole harvesting agenda. And that's why I tell a lot of Nubians keep your vibration as high as possible, because these beings that are harvesting humanoids for energy, you have to have you have to have a certain lower vibration for you to be on their menu, because they prefer that a low vibration emits a certain energy. Okay, a lot of us know that, but a low vibration emits a certain energy. So that energy is a food source to a lot of these beings who are harvesting. And then remember that movie Jupiter Ascending. Humans are getting harvested. Okay, then you got this Matrix is so popular. Humans being harvested. Long story short. So Penny Bradley, um, she's a white lady, and when you get a chance, go on YouTube, type her name in, and she has a lot of interesting information. Um, Planet Earth is just a big old farm. Okay, that's why in the Matrix 2, when they showed you those big old farms. Okay, in Matrix 2, when they finally kind of show you those huge farms of humans, that's very symbolic. Oh God, because that's what this planet Earth is. It's a farm. Okay, for the Dracos. Okay, it's an energetic farm. Okay, and it's a physical farm, because a lot of these folks out here, okay, they are literally being brought to Alaska, because there's not a lot of it's dark out there. So a lot of these folks are being brought to Alaska, and they're being taken up by the Dracos as a food source. Okay.
Okay. Um. Hmm. Ugh. You said a lot. I went to grab my notebook to start taking notes, and then I got caught up and didn't even take a note, so I don't even know. What I
Yeah, I
wanted
was.
to
Yeah,
say.
I was.
Man.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, when I'm watching, so when I'm watching this stuff, I just make so many different connections, or it takes me different places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I do. And yeah, just like I just went somewhere. That's why I forgot I was holding this big old black. I mean, see, blue. Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm coming. Okay, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. All right. One thing I know I do want to talk about, which we've not mentioned. I'm kind of surprised the mention has not been made, but because I'm such a fan of Jada,
Uh
I
oh.
must say, can we talk about her?
Oh, her hair, huh?
The hair, definitely the hair, but just her period in this movie and her role. Cause I definitely when I saw her, I was just a fan. I'm just a fan. I will
What?
at
So
that time.
what?
I can't say
What
too
about
much
her?
right now, but at that time, I was like, yes,
Well, what did you? You know what? I love your breakdowns. What did you get? What did you like about her?
huh? What I what?
I said I love your breakdowns. What did you kind of notice about her character?
Um, it's just again starting with just the
Niobe.
hair. There's this fierceness,
Yeah.
just her energy. Just like she could
Yeah.
stand, she could be there on screen and don't say nothing, and you could feel her. She just brought it, just like I'm here. I know y'all see me. Don't even be acting like you don't see me. Yeah,
Hmm.
I like she brought it for real. She brought that whole presence of us. She represented for real to me. She did that
Yeah,
thing.
she gave me like segment energy, just like a
Mm.
divine feminine Christ, kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Segment is that the divine feminine Christ type. Very
Yeah, I see.
beautiful, but a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
And
speaking
there's a
of,
lot. And, no, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I'm noticing a lot of these stronger Nubian female characters in a lot of these movies.
Yeah, and then again, it's also Jada. So she comes with that delicate feminine that you mentioned as well. So regardless of how they dress her up and how many weapons they put in her hands, she's still coming with that delicate feminine side. That just the feminine. I, I'm speechless still. Just looking at this picture is powerful. She's powerful. You know what I mean? With her little short
Yeah,
self. Like
I'm a
me.
huge J Pinkett fan. So
Yeah, I probably am too, because she's short like me.
yeah,
We
I'm a
we don't play.
huge.
We packing them punches for real. Mm-hmm.
That's because when you're right. It's because when you're short, you're grounded to the earth. So you can harness more energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you're centered on the earth, yeah, you can channel more energy from the planet when you put into that punch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they made
Yeah.
Jada. They made was it Niobe, that character badass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's really, I mean, her character speaks for herself. Like I said before, when it comes to us women, I don't have a
Uh oh.
translation for us. We come with our own translation. And for me it'd be to say anything more would be to take away, if that's possible, from what she represented. She speaks for herself to me.
Right, and she's powerful. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
remember in the Matrix, she's one of the few humans left on the planet that has been in the Matrix and actually has killed an agent. Okay, because remember,
Mm-hmm.
agents are like, usually when you encounter them, you get killed. But she one of the few. It's interesting to make her character one of the few characters on the planet that actually um, faced the agent and killed the agent before.
Yeah, because we the source of that power, so they had to acknowledge at some point, in some way,
Mm, mm,
they had to,
mm.
because we the source.
I always wonder what happens if they had Malia there. If Malia stayed in her role, she would stay, she was still alive. I always made me wonder how it would have turned out. And then also it's like, I'm gonna put in that what if moment where it's like, what if Will Smith did take that role instead of Keanu Reeves? How deep would that story have been if Will Smith would have been that actor instead of Keanu Reeves?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Interesting.
Right. I know and I'm about to bring up this interesting find. And I don't remember seeing Jada in there. And I'm a little bit mad
Uh
about
oh.
that.
I don't think she was in it.
She wasn't in there. So I'm about to pull that up. And so I was that's what I was gonna say. So Ra, you mentioned you were watching the trailer to part 4. I watched it too as well.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us what you
Right.
thought of the part 4 that's coming up and releasing in December?
So honestly, listen, man, um, that looks interesting because I don't know what I'm not. They can take that in multiple directions, but it looks like
Mhm.
Neo is having amnesia, so that's really going to they're really going to make it symbolic of what is happening right now. We are waking up from a level of amnesia. Okay, we don't know what's going on,
Mhm.
but we are getting visions, and when you're watching the trailer, it's the exact same thing. He's living a normal life. He's having visions of him with powers.
Mhm.
Okay, so that from the trailer, it's like the trailer alone is like, whoa, that's very resonating. Okay,
Right.
a lot of us, um, once we increase in vibration and all that, from what I'm studying, a lot of us have these hidden powers locked in the DNA. Because you understand the DNA holds the entire knowledge of the universe, so it holds all the experiences of all the ancestors. And remember, the ancestors are higher beings that can levitate and they can move things with their mind, and that's in our DNA. So a lot
Mhm.
of people are waking up with it. I had a dream 3 days ago of me levitating. Okay, and in
Mhm.
my dream I was levitating, and in my dream I was levitating. And what's in this day and age? If you get the ability to levitate, what you gonna do with that? You're gonna go on social media. So that's what I did in my dream. Started levitating, went on social media, showed everybody. Everybody's acting crazy. But the point is, we're having visions of that. And in the trailer, Neo's having visions. Um, and then Neo meets Trinity, acting like they don't know each other. So that means, and a lot of times when we meet people, we have a strange feeling that we met them before, and we probably have in a different life. So when you see that, when I was watching the trailer, I was like, hmm. Now I was disappointed to not see Mr. Lawrence Fishburne, but that other brother that's replacing him, he's a good actor. So whatever. I'm always a fan of seeing new talent. Let me go pull it up. Actually, if you get a chance, if you can you play the trailer during the live stream?
The new one. I can play anything I want to flash, so I
Yeah.
don't care about them what they be talking about. Yep.
Oh
I
yeah,
do
play that.
like
Yeah, play
he
that.
said play that shit. Here it goes. Play that.
Yeah, I want to make a prediction. I want to make a prediction. All right, so remember when I was talking about
Hold on,
Neo?
let me get Ramutef. There we go. All right, hold on. Where we at? Because I had something else going, but we going to did it. Hold up. Stand by.
Okay, Neo's caught in
All right.
quantum com-
Okay. Hold up.
So, can y'all hear me?
Yes, Ramutef Queb, how are you?
I'm good, good. All right, so yeah, I want to make a quick prediction, right? So, remember I was telling you about in the second movie when Neo, um,
Okay. Trailer. I guess I'll play some sound.
All right, hold on. Before we start, wait. All right, I'm back now. All
Wait,
right,
wait,
so
wait.
go.
We listening. Go ahead.
All right, so remember he implanted him. I'm giving it away. So he implanted himself when he touched Trinity's heart. Remember that. All right. So when everything got rebooted, Trinity is actually Neo now. The
Mm.
avatar of who we know as Neo is just like a encapsulation of those memories of what happened. So whenever he gets to Trinity, eventually in that movie, you're gonna see. I think there's a scene where you see Neo, the character of Neo, um, touching touching Trinity, and she's all coated. That's just my prediction. That's what I think. That's what I think is going on. Personally,
Okay.
it's in the trailer. It says it's all in the trailer. I was
Okay.
like, yo, when I seen that, I said, hold up, wait a minute, why is he very protective? Oh, he must be a figment of his memory, and his body is encapsulated in another.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And like you see how he notices everything. That's how I be. That's how I be on a daily basis. I'll be in a
Mm-hmm.
crowd full of people and everybody on their phones. I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was like, when I seen that version, I said, when I seen that scene, I said, yo, that's me all day.
Mm-hmm. Every day.
Hmm.
All right.
Take that red one, boy. I tell you.
Yeah. Um, Rob was here. He's attempting to come back in the studio. I'm not sure what's up. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hold that till he gets here. The rest of that trailer, and also it helps his concern of if I can play it or not. What I'm going to, I want to share what I had prepped. The interesting fact find. So this article I found, and I was like, Ramutef, you gotta talk to us about it. We gonna look at it, but Ramutef, I need you look at this, Ramutef. um, the Matrix character you are based on your zodiac sign. And this was shortly after Ramutef had shared with me what DPS is, and I was like, "Oh yes, that's definitely me. That's definitely me." Um, so yes, we have Ra here in the studio with us again. So let's look at these characters. We're going to skip the actual article. Y'all can go read it for yourself. So in this article, Aries is Neo, and it's speaking
Like on
about strength lies in his courageousness and determination, both qualities of which are fully present in Neo. You can't really attempt to do the impossible so many times without those traits. Like Aries, Neo is confident, which is why he believes he'll be able to rescue Morpheus in the third act of the first film. His enthusiasm is on full display when he soaks up hours of combat training from Tank in a single setting. Neo, like Aries, is optimistic, truly believing in himself and his abilities, eventually coming around to the idea that he is the one. He's also passionate, as seen in his love for Trinity and willingness to give it all up to save her, which is what we just recently spoke on. When it comes
Sound
to
more like a
Aries'
Leo than
weaknesses,
anything.
it's fair to say that Neo fits the bill across the board. He can be impatient, which is why he's constantly searching for the Oracle.
mm,
Hold on. As he waits for her to present herself and is a bit miffed when she finally does. Neo can be moody, and you already see Taurus is Morpheus, but we're going to hold on that.
That's a whole Leo right there. But keep
Yeah,
going.
seen in the architect's chamber with many of the previous versions of systemic anomaly showing off awfully short tempers. Neo's impulsiveness and aggressive nature are also seen at that time, as he's more interested in saving Trinity's life than allowing all of humanity to start over. Ramutef, if you would, I hear you over there getting revved up. What you got for us?
No, it sounds more like a Leo than an Aries from
Okay.
my perspective. Because like when I was looking at the old chart, I was like, huh, yeah, I could see that, but no, that's mm-mm. When you watch all three films, and you watch his whole character development, and then it's like a no brainer because Keanu Reeves himself is a Leo, So him playing that role is something that a Leo literally would do. Why? Because Leos are very they want to be seen, be noticed, and then a lot of his acting from I forgot what that movie was, where he was a surfer cop. I forgot what that movie was called, but from people comparing him to those films, and then he steps outside the box and does this, and then it morphs his career in certain other ways. And then on top of that, he did other films in the sense of
You talking
Bill and
about Point
Ted.
Break?
Yeah, Point Break. That's it. That
Okay.
movie was good. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, like Bill and Ted and things of that nature. So roles, a lot of his roles, especially
And
in
what's
this
the
one,
other
and the
one
way,
called? Speed, the one with the bus?
yeah, Speed. Yep, and then
Okay.
Speed too.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the roles that he played, he's he's a Leo. Like his sun sign is a Leo, and with him acting anything, no matter what type of sign that they're going to try to give these individuals, he's definitely not an Aries. I can definitely give you that. That whole movie does not scream Aries at all.
Okay, though. Um, Gratitude. Ra, you
Mm.
have something for us?
Um, what's interesting? While I'm listening, and I was just doing some reading. Neo, that motherfucker. That's not even a real person, right? Because he was grown, you know what I'm saying. If you notice, a lot of those people in Zion, there were real humans who had no installation in the back of their neck. Those are real humans.
Bingo.
Neil's actually a false. Neil's actually a false. He's not even a real human.
He's a false prophet. Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going.
right.
Keep going.
He's kind of. He's kind of. Yeah, he's kind of you don't know and that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. The real humans of that world were never plugged up because they were born via a womb, but Neil came out of a tank.
Just like
So
everybody else
just
on the
like
crew.
Ramutef was saying, yeah, most of everybody in the Matrix, those are not real humans anyway. So why are we? They were grown. They were literally grown inside of a tank, and their consciousness was put inside of a program. That ain't got nothing to do. That ain't got nothing to do with us or the real humans. Long story short.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
just wanted to add that I was just doing some reading. I'm like, wait a minute, Neo, the being Neo, he never came out of a woman. He was grown in a tube. That's a clone.
He's an artificial human. He probably have the monkey palms
Artif-
and everything. But
right?
keep going.
Exactly. Artificial. Exactly. It says a synthetically grown human.
Mhm.
Mm.
Just like that. Oh, and just like just like that. Remember that movie I gave you with what the fuck is up with Keanu Reeves? He's always in these movies, right? But remember that
He's a
movie he was
Leo. That's
in
why.
Yeah.
when his okay, got you. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Huh?
Hold that thought.
What did he say? Okay.
He was saying that because he's a Leo. So that's interesting. I'm astrology is my weak point, to be honest. So that's interesting. But remember that movie
You're
I gave
talking
you
about
and
replicas.
huh?
Replicas.
Yes. Where his family got killed and he grew them in a damn tank.
In the
That
basement.
movie was
Oh, what's
In
that
that?
the
movie was
What's that
basement.
that movie
movie?
was listen. That movie was absolutely ridiculous because he's over there hell bent. Let me tell you. Let's talk about this movie right quick. I got to talk about this movie right quick.
Go ahead. We was gonna
Cause
do a
it's
review
starring Neo
anyway.
anyway. It's starring
Yeah.
Neo anyway. Shit. It's another part of the Matrix. It's just another part of the Matrix. So listen, this
Go
man.
ahead.
So in our culture, okay, I don't put my beliefs on anybody else. These are my beliefs and what I deal with. Okay, but according to what I deal with, a clone does not have a soul. A clone has ka. There's a difference between ka and ba. I see a lot of niggas teaching on this and they're not getting it right. But we're gonna get it
Teach.
right now. You know what I'm
Teach.
saying? There's a difference. If it was the same thing, there would be only one word for it. If it was the same thing, but it's called ka and ba. There is a difference. Okay, everything ba translates over to soul, right? Ka is a spirit. So the
Mhm.
question is, what is the difference? Okay, Like it can get confusing, but I try to make it simple. Okay, everything in the universe has consciousness, which is and that's essentially what a ka is. Essentially, it's just consciousness that animates all living things within the universes. Okay, a
Very
ka
on
is
point.
bounded. The ka consciousness is planetary bounded. Okay, a soul is some. The soul comes from the divine source in which generates the entire universe, called God. Long story short, the soul is a stream or a quantum fraction or a divine stream of what they're calling God, the supreme being. So, long story short, God broke himself up into little tiny pieces called souls. Okay, and they incarnate into specifically, and this is the purpose of melanin. Melanin is like a chamber. You need a high level of melanin in order to hold a soul. Because a soul is what we say non-etheric or hyperdimensional energy. Okay, I don't want to get too scientific, but a clone, in order for a soul to incarnate to a body, it has to be specifically designed. You know what I'm saying? Using the mitochondrial DNA of a black goddess. Okay, only she can design the soul avatars. Okay, so in our culture, if you're grown in a lab, that means you don't have. That means you don't have no soul. A soul is you don't have a soul. A soul is what you are. That's another thing that's important. You don't have a soul. You have a body. Okay. You have a body. You're using your body to interact with the world down here. Okay. Now, our clone souls do not incarnate into bodies that are synthetically or artificially grown. So long story short, clones don't have no soul. So when I'm watching the damn movie, I'm like, this dude is falling. This dude is protecting. That's not his family. That's a genetic reincarnation of his family. But in terms of the consciousness left when his family got killed. The consciousness been left the body. So if he was if he was a really top elite scientist like them Germans, them Germans is fire because they deal with the spiritual sciences. They know about the Ka and the Ba,
Mhm.
and they have
Mhm.
technology. They have technology given to them by higher beings that allows them to trap the Ka because they know about there's no death. They know that once if the body gets destroyed, the consciousness comes out the body. Long story short, and they know that, and they can trap it into a magnetic chamber. So if he wanted to really save his family, you know what I'm saying, he should have called one of them goddamn Germans up, like, yo, I need one of them magnetic chambers. My wife is over here in ghost form because she just got killed in a car accident. So my wife and my kids are both out here in ghost form. I need that magnetic chamber, and I need you to trap them. You know what I'm saying? I want them to come back. I don't want them to leave. Because what happened was when they got killed, when you get killed like that, your consciousness, whether it be a Ka or spirit, your Ka or your soul, your consciousness is still remains on that scene in ghost or etheric form. With us, we have ancestors that, long story short, they help us, they guide us back to where we need to go. But without getting too spooky, they don't have ancestors in higher realms, okay? And this is where it gets spooky. That's why I don't really speak about it a lot, because white folks get spooked out when I talk about this, okay? But they don't have ancestors to guide them out once they come out their body. That's why Earth is so haunted. When they come out their body, the motherfuckers is trapped in a etheric ghost form. Long story short, again, you can capture it using a magnetic chamber. But in that movie, what he did was instead of trying to bring back, because that's what you really are. You really your consciousness. We know that you're not your body. You're the consciousness that makes you who you are. Okay. In the movie, he didn't care about none of that. He just wanted. So I'm thinking maybe he just wanted to have sex with her. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was just a pure physical thing. He just wanted to bring back his wife. You know what I'm saying? So some white lady. You know what I'm saying? He just wanted to have sex with her. But that's not his wife. That's a soulless genetic reincarnation. You know what I'm saying? With artificial intelligence, the consciousness of that clone is going to go off of the memory of the genetics. But that wasn't his wife. So the whole time I'm thinking he's over here falling in love with. He got these soulless clone children, and he got the soulless clone wife. You know what I'm saying? And even she was acting kind of robotic. Okay, that's what clones do. Long story short, and she was only grown for like a couple months. So she's gonna be going off. She's not gonna be that wasn't his wife. So that movie, long story short, that movie that when I was watching that I'm like, this dude's over here protecting. And again, we fall for that Hollywood feel bad for the fucking clones. But the dude in that movie was correct. He's like, you know what? Those are clones. Those are not real. That's property growing inside of it. Matter of fact, that's our property. Long story short.
Yep. and he showed and wanted him to pay up.
Oh
Pay
God,
up.
right.
It's crazy. Um, wow. Ramutef, you want to share right now? Anything before we go to
No, I'm
another?
good. I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good to nothing.
All right. So I had the part of the trailer playing while you were gone, Raw. I have it up to finish it. Well, yeah, about finish it. Is there anything in here you wanted to speak about while I was sharing it?
The trailer. It's about the trailer.
Yeah, I had it up. While when you left, I got it up.
This scene right here, right here. This is the scene right there. You see it? When he was touching Trinity and the code started going on her body.
When
So
the
yeah,
what?
right there, like as soon as he walked in, right? And then you see him in, right here, this scene right here. You see how he
Yeah,
touches her and she starts coding?
yeah.
That's what I mean by like when I was talking about prediction. I was predicting that, she's actually Neo,
Okay,
but the body, the avatar of the person that we know as Neo, he's just a collection of the consciousness of him. So when they merge, in a sense, then he's going to become back, or how you say his resurrection. But that's his new person. That's what I think is going on.
okay. Well, we will be in Indianapolis watching the movie to see if you got it right.
I know, right? I'm be like, ah!
Real
I
time
ain't gonna
stuff
lie. I'm gonna
with
be
the
hyped
host
as
and
hell.
others that'll be there with us.
Thanks, thanks, thanks.
hmm Rod, did you want to share right now, or we want to finish looking at the trailer?
Oh
How you
no,
want to
no.
proceed?
Um, yeah, I got kicked out. I don't know what's going on, but
It's
I'm
cool.
telling you, they watching us. But right. Nah, I just want to say that I'm the trailer. Um, I'm interested in what they're gonna do with that. It just seems like they're gonna go with the whole remembrance, and they're gonna make it really resonating with what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? How we waking up. You know what I'm saying? Listen, we still not fully woke. I'm not woke yet either. Because if I was, I would be levitating right now. Right? You know what I'm saying? So we're still. So
hmm
I tell people, be a master student. Because just because you goddamn speaking ancient Egyptian and you change your name to Minra or whatever the hell,
Okay,
you still ain't woke. you
all
still
of
you
that.
still need to be you still need to humble yourself and be a student. Because if you're woke, we will be moving objects with our mind. We wouldn't even be talking right now. We'd be telepathic. So that
That's
means
right.
we still have a lot of learning to do. Long story short.
Yep. And me myself, I'm actually looking forward to the telepathic myself. More of it, more so than what I already know. Because I am aware. So yeah, the movie comes out on the 22nd, and all Karmic Dynasty events so far have been on a Saturday. So the Saturday happens to fall on December 25th. So we're having it on that day. But yeah, I'm with you on the name changes. People change their name all day and use these commission names, and just there's more to it. There's so much more to it. And it's something that's I talked to someone today, and it's actually an ongoing journey. It's not like you say, okay, I'm gonna take a month and get to know myself. No, this is ongoing. So you change your name, you still
Hmm.
the same damn person if you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. So names don't names them titles don't impress me. And you just the same old guy walking to the corner store every day.
Yeah,
That's
that
what you do.
yeah
Which is why I have
that's a
the
whole nother subject.
upcoming memoir MSTA series coming up, because I'm not impressed with them bays and them L's and them days and them that I'm not impressed. It's supposed to be uplifting, following humanity, and you need to start in your own yourself first. That's what I'm seeing from my
Mm-mm.
perspective. So I'm going to be discussing that and much more in that series. And as you can see from the background, the Egyptian influence, the Egyptian roots, all that, the tie-ins will be addressed in part one of that series. So I will be addressing the Moorish Science Temple of America for quite a bit. And when I'm done, I will peacefully move on and address the Nation of Islam after them.
Hmm. Mm-mm.
And a side note,
That's gonna be interesting.
very interesting. I love the Nation of Islam. So there's gonna be two different type energies in this place. Karmic Dynasty. Check me out. Now, so we looked at the trailer, and let's look back at this. Oh, Neo, what was it? No, Morpheus is Taurus. We're gonna look at that right now. Well, Taurus is Morpheus, however they want to say it on here. That's what they got for us next. And I'm gonna read this. We've reached the conclusion that Morpheus is the character from the Matrix most closely aligned with the sign of Taurus. According to Refinery 29, Taurus's strengths come in the form of reliability, a characteristic Morpheus demonstrates above all others. When you need him, he will be there. Like Taurus, Morpheus is also patient, advising Neo that the Oracle will reappear, and make contact when she's ready. He's also practical, making the best use of what he has in any given situation. Morpheus also demonstrates extreme devotion, as seen in his willingness to sacrifice himself to save Neo because of his belief in him as the One. He's responsible, seemingly willing to go to the stockade at the beginning of the second movie, which is what we're reviewing today, under the assumption that Commander Jason Locke has sent men, blah, blah, blah. Weaknesses in the form of stubbornness, most of all, believing the prophecy of the One and going to any lengths to which he must in order to help facilitate its realization. And we're not sure you'd really call him possessive, given the seeming ease with which he sees Captain Niobe Jada leaving him and hook up with Locke. But he's certainly uncompromising, a trait we'd imagine is an absolute must when one has devoted their life to a cause so important as Morpheus believes his to be. And again, as I mentioned, I'm going to share this, and in Ramutef's time, he will be here to talk to us more on each character. Rod, did you have anything to share at this time?
Not on that.
All right. Moving
Yeah,
forward.
I wanted to drop a.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna. I want to drop something real quick, but I didn't want to deviate you because you said something about the Muslims and that you are a huge fan of that, but I didn't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
deviate you. But
Take it to
I just want to say
go.
that a lot of them actually are coming over to the Kemetic. A lot of times when the Islamic brothers, when they keep ascending in their degrees, they realize, wait a minute, I'm God. That's what I'm noticing what's going on with them. So a lot of them are coming over too.
Yeah, they know. They know. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
well,
Mm-hmm.
from what I personally seen, and that's something I'm going to be speaking on in that series. From what I personally have seen, even though more in the temple they speak on they are God, the Nation of
Mm-hmm.
Islam is something else. It's a whole nother
Hmm.
event. And I
Hmm.
they, from what I've seen, their structure and the life they say is the life they live. I've not had any conflicts there myself. I've talked to people, they've experienced conflicts with the Nation of Islam, but me myself, and in there on some severe, sincere, serious study, oh no, and then just staying focused on self because it's about knowing thyself. I think if anyone had any issues with the nation, that they were actually having issues with themselves. So yeah, from what I've seen that they teach and study, unlike, and I'm gonna go in this in brief, unlike when I would go to the temple, and I've been to more than one, it's like church feels like church. When I go into the mosque, it feels like a knowledge session. It's just all straight knowledge. And it's like how being okay. Um okay. Um okay. You and your opinion, you are it is yours. You is yours. None personal. So either way, and this is Karmic Dynasty. This is my platform, in my opinion, peacefully, as I said. Anyway, so Everything is self. So being that they have the thought, the knowledge that they say they are God, means that when there is something that's going on and you are claiming to be God, and you see that there's a so-called error, there's a glitch in the matrix, it is, as the creator, the responsibility to create something that goes along with that. So my effort, as knowing who I am, is to address the lack of uplifting of fallen humanity, even though it's preached so much in a church-like feeling atmosphere. And then acknowledging where I can go with all of the myths, because I went to the temple and the mosque, both to just go direct for myself, to see for myself. And seeing is what I see for myself. Behind the doors, behind them closed doors, who knows? But what I've seen, what myself has gathered, the Nation of Islam, they are actually out there on the streets, is what I'm going to give them credit for today. They knocking on people's doors, but they don't have the banner of uplifting fallen humanity. I ain't seen no temple workers out on the streets uplifting anyone, because they can do what they want to do on the social media. They can do what they want to do and preach and make posts on Facebook and little short videos or whatever their capacity on YouTube or anywhere else. The thing is, there's the falsehood of social media. Seriously, that's why from my I go out on my tours and I go out in the cities and I go out to the people. People can all day say what they want to in the comment section, but behind that closed door at home, out in the real world, they going through some stuff. And they need more than a damn platform with a great opening and intro and some great theme music and your made up screen name. So that's my piece for today.
Muta Campbell, very powerful.
Gratitude. So going on to Gemini switch. Let's talk about Gemini right now. When it comes to the sign of Gemini, which is represented by a pair of celestial twins, it would have been all too easy to assign it the actual characters, the twins, but we promise creative interpretation, and that's pretty much the opposite. At which point we be getting aggravated. Yes. We would be. Instead, we post that Gemini is switch to suggest, which is not to suggest that switch is not gentle, affectionate, curious, or adaptable, though we certainly don't see weaknesses like nervousness, inconsistency, or indecisiveness. Gemini twins are often interpreted as a person having a dual nature. Let's see. The Matrix stuff was all about a desire for transformation, but it was coming from a closeted point of view. So we had the character of Switch, who would be a man in the real world and a woman in the Matrix. That's where our headspaces were. Switch is presented as androgynous, and the dual nature isn't overtly examined. Let's see. It makes the most sense for Switch to be aligned with a sign whose dual nature can be the source of conflict and inner turmoil, as many closeted LGBTQ plus people experience in real life. And the character's name isn't exactly cryptic, given Wachowski's perspective. Any feedback from the panel?
Yeah, go back to that screen right quick.
Gotcha.
Okay, bet. Let's see. Switch is presented as androgynous, and the dual nature isn't overly examined. Okay. Um, I find it to be very interesting. I identify with androgyny. Um, I'm heterosexual, but I do have feminine tendencies. Long story short, so I do identify with androgyny, and I'm a Gemini. You know what I'm saying? But androgyny to me represents my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Because my eye is universal balance. What are we balancing? We're harmonizing the different masculine and feminine energies. And masculine energy is simply aggressive feminine energy. Because we understand the feminine energy came first. From what I deal with. Long story short. So um a lot of times when you're looking at the sign of Gemini, you'll see the twin, but some of the symbols you'll see it conjoined at the bottom. Okay, so Gemini, um, to me when I see that, that's just my, and we all strive to, for a lot of people out there who want to ascend their vibration, always tap into, if you're a masculine, try to vibrate on that feminine side. It doesn't mean it has nothing to do with being homosexual. But when we talk about feminine energy, we're just talking about nurturing, compassion, things like that. Okay, we are too do we have been too we are too separated. Okay, our ancestors, now it gets deep. Our ancestors, or our great great super great hyper great parents of our bloodlines, were very androgynous. These beings they actually had an extra chromosome. I have an extra chromosome. Long story short, I'm a reincarnation of them. Long story short, okay. But androgyny is something that we as Black people, um, and the LGBT community, I tell Black people they need to get out of that, because that had nothing to do with them. They got their own language? Do they got religion? No, they didn't get out of that. Okay. But a lot of our ancestors, they weren't homosexual, but they were androgynous looking. Like, if you were to go back, let's say you go back, I don't know, 100,000 years, and you were to look at your physical ancestors and see how they look, a lot of them were androgynous. Kind of like Ra too. If you pull a picture of Ra on Stargate, that's how a lot of ancestors look. But they got him kind of whitewashed. But that's a good example. Because when I seen that movie, that resonated. Because if you saw Ra on Stargate, you don't know if that was a female or a male, but they were dropping some facts on you, showing you how our ancestors were very androgynous. Yeah, there you go. Okay, bet. So they got him. They go Ra. That's what I'm talking about. So that's Ra. If you look at him, you can't tell what you cannot. When I first saw Stargate, I had no idea. I thought it was actually feminine. It looked more feminine. But then when you see a picture of his chest out, clearly that's a masculine. But that's an androgynous being. But that's showing you how our ancestors. Now that image of Ra is, again, it's whitewashed. To be honest, it's whitewashed and it's been light skinned up. But it shows you how our ancestors physically were more androgynous looking. Even the men and the women, they look like they were very androgynous. And if you go into the LGBT community, um, a lot of women who are bisexual, they're very androgynous too. And then you have a few masculine heterosexual androgynous, who vibrate on both. That's what makes me a little different than most other androgynous, because I'm not, again, I'm hetero. Okay, I'm not bisexual. I'm not homosexual. I'm hetero. Okay, so so not every androgynous being is bi or homo. Long story short, but people need to look into that. That's our ancestors right there. Yeah, the LGBT. Look at that, and that's an upside down. Okay, the rainbow. We need to get out of that. Okay, their flag is that's a upside down Arushat system, Arusha chakra. That's an upside down chakra system. Okay, that don't got nothing. That, that whatever. That had nothing to do with us. That had nothing to do with our culture. Right. The red at the top. That's the lower chakra. They're glorifying that lower nature. That's what I saw when I seen that. You know, the rainbow. It's so unfortunate, but that rainbow has been hijacked. You know what I'm saying? A rainbow is actually. If you ever seen a rainbow before, it's very beautiful. And it's unfortunate that now it's been hijacked and it's associated with that. But that represents a rainbow represents what you are. Okay, a multidimensional ethereal being. If you were to see yourself, you look like a rainbow in your etheric soul form. If you have all these colors, but based upon your mood, you're vibrating. You're vibrating a certain color. Long story short,
Gratitude. I
yeah,
appreciate that you sharing that.
that's a good picture right there. Yeah, that's a good picture too in the middle with that.
Oh
That's
goodness,
what you,
hold
that's
on,
what you
where
look
am I?
like outside.
Which picture?
That humanoid rainbow. That's what you look like.
Oh, this right here.
That's what you look
That's
like
what nice.
outside of your body.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. Oh, I always like what you add in here, and definitely the shore is upside down. That was a key point I took from what you just shared with us as well.
Yeah, look, the red, that's the lower chakra, and that's the root, and that's the solar. That's an upside down chakra. And you can't really, you can't talk about that because Facebook's gonna ban you. So you can't. A lot of us who feel like I feel, there's a lot of people feel like how I feel, but you can't talk about it really because they'll ban your shit on Facebook. You can say anything negative. They lucky, boy. I'll go in. I don't. Again, I don't have anything against. I don't deal with that. I don't deal with homophobic type stuff. I don't deal with that point blank. I don't. You are our brothers and sisters regardless of what you're doing in the physical world. Long story short, that's how I ultimately feel. So my issues with LGBT that had nothing to do with it had nothing to do with with that organization. It just seems I don't know. It just seems backwards to me. That's just my personal opinion.
Gratitude for sharing that. I appreciate you. Um, hmm. Things to think on. Or not. Let's see. All right, back to this zodiac article. Cancer is tank. Um, let's see. Tank was certainly tenacious in pretty much every scene in which he appeared, though we're not sure how he got to display anything that would suggest he was highly imaginative. He was, however, completely loyal, as displayed in both his decision to cut Morpheus's feed, demonstrating his loyalty to Zion, and the decision to send Neo and Trinity into the Matrix, save the ship's intrepid captain. Tank certainly showed his emotional side via his outpouring of venom for the treacherous Cypher and grief for his fallen brother Dozier. While Tank displayed a good number of strengths listed for Cancer, he wasn't a great fit for some of the weaknesses. Tank never came across as moody, though he definitely possessed a certain vitality, uh, volatility, where we could totally see that coming through. He wasn't overly pessimistic on the whole, though he wasn't shy about sharing his misgivings when it came to Neo's chances to successfully bringing Morpheus back. All right. So next we have Leo as Agent Smith. Would you like anyone like to share anything before we look at Leo and Agent Smith?
Now you can go ahead.
Gratitude. Let's see here. Apologies to all Leos out there. You're the first sign to match with the villain from Matrix, though you won't be the last. Per the traits listed, Agent Smith is the celestial lion Leo. This is where some of the creative interpretation comes into play. And speaking of creativity, that's one of Leo's characteristics. We don't have to shoehorn into a character. Smith's ability to double himself and infect people connected to the Matrix is certainly a creative and resourceful means of building an army. He's passionate in his desire to eliminate humanity and seeming aim to take over the Matrix. While we don't think you'd ever really call Agent Smith warm-hearted or cheerful, he certainly is humorous at times, cracking a notable line here and there. As far as Leo's weaknesses there's no denying Smith's arrogance. He sees only one path forward, and it's his path. Going hand in hand with the arrogance that is a genuine stubbornness, though it manifests itself in a certain type of resolve when it comes to Smith's unyielding will. Smith is certainly self-centered. Let's see. Lazy definitely doesn't fit with everyone's least favorite antagonist. Okay. Next we have Virgo is Commander Locke. When Commander Jason Locke joined, he brought a sort of stilly gravitas to the Zion leadership. Per the characteristics offered by, Locke most closely aligns with the sign of Virgo. He's loyal, easily seen in his sense of duty to Zion and what he perceives to be the proper way to prepare for the impending attack by the machine army. He has an analytical nature, needing to be able to assess Zion's strengths and weaknesses in the face of the enemy. Let's see. Mercy, kindness. Locke is certainly hardworking, focusing all of his energy into the last city's defense, and there's no denying that he's practical, which is why he's so angry that Morpheus convinced another captain to remain at broadcast death in order to wait for potential word from the Oracle. Virgo's weaknesses. We'd say shyness doesn't exactly fit. Locke's personality is pretty much the opposite of shyness. He's definitely worrisome, though that comes forward in the form of overabundance of caution. Then again, is it really a matter of being overly cautious when he's trying to prevent the annihilation of the last remaining human society? Locke is overly critical of others, etc., etc. Any feedback from the panel? Okay.
No, I'm learning. It's interesting.
Moving forward. And Ramutef and I talked about this. So what's interesting is to hear Ramutef's perspective. And he'll be with us, would be great in his time. So the architect we have is Libra. The second sign, let me read this. Well, Libra, you're the second sign of the zodiac we feel most closely matches up with the villain from the Matrix franchise. In your case, it's the architect. The architect is interested in balance and harmony because a harmonious and perfectly functioning matrix means eternal life and existence for the AI hive mind. As such, the architect must be Libra, represented by a set of scales signifying an overall need for balance. Though we peg the architect as Libra based on the desire for balance alone, the character does fit some of the characteristics in the astrological rundown. He is cooperative, working alongside other programs to design and implement the matrix. He's both diplomatic and gracious. Despite the fact that he presents Neo some rather concrete terms, let's see. Call the architect. Okay. Indecisive, a weakness. The architect is indecisive, or he avoids confrontations and indulges in self-pity. It is, however, fair to say that he carries a grudge, given his self-described sincerest efforts to eliminate the anomaly in previous versions of the Matrix. And next, here's my favorite. Scorpio is Trinity.
Your favorite.
One of my favorites, because Ramutef explained DPS to me, and DPS is in the illustration he used Trinity as the example. So I was like, yes, because in my knowledge of Solar Return and Earth days, and so I was born Sagittarius, nail stars and stuff from Scorpio. So yeah, I'm like, oh, I got two signs. I'll be like, I got two signs, and so Trinity, and then we're gonna of course go through Sagittarius next. Now, it reads, um, Neo's lover and soulmate in the Matrix. Due to reappearing the fourth Matrix movie, which is what we're promoting today, the Karmic Dynasty event in Indianapolis, December 25th, 3 p.m. until be there, is one of the easiest characters from the franchise to pin down when it comes to signs of the zodiac. There can be no doubt that she is a Scorpio through and through. She hits nearly every single trait. She is as resourceful as they come, making good use of whatever assets may be at hand at any moment. She's also tremendously brave, putting her own life in harm's way in order to complete the mission. When it comes to passion, let's just say there's a certain scene set in their quarters in Zion that makes the case in so many words. Trinity is clearly stubborn, telling Neo he can go to hell if he doesn't like the idea of her tagging along.
Right.
She's also a true friend, emphasizing the with Tank over the loss of Dozer. Trinity displays nearly all of Scorpio's weaknesses. She's distrusting, taking a while to warm up to Neo at all, though perhaps that's because the Oracle told her she's supposed to fall in love with the one. Jealousy is on full display. We're not sure we'd call Trinity secretive, but we're pretty sure labeling her as violent needs no elaboration. Any feedback from the panel?
Nope. Over here taking notes.
All right. Oh, let me get this, grab this. All right. Next, we have Sagittarius is the Oracle. It's like, yes! By our reckoning, and actually, who was, I don't want to, I think it was Ramutef talked to me about the Oracle. I wasn't Ramutef. Somebody talked to me
Yeah,
about the
who's the
Oracle.
villain? Who's actually the villain? Yeah.
But we're gonna get to that, I think. Ramutef, you sharing with us?
No, I said she's the villain. Well, I
Okay, it
see her
was
as the
you.
villain.
Okay.
Like the Oracle, she was actually the villain because she was basically the program. One
Can
of
you
because
come
I want to
closer
say
to
this.
your microphone, Ramutef?
What about you? Hear me?
That's better.
All right. Yeah, she was. I say she was part of the Trinity because there's one character in the Matrix that was only introduced. I want to say was the I wasn't the third one. The face that the machines made when Neo went to go confront the machines to go against Smith. He was that hidden factor. The other two was the Oracle and the Architect. They were like the mother and the father, and then you had that being who was ruling everything as the child. I personally feel that the architect is the one who is just basically bringing order. Whatever the program says to do, that's what it has to be. No changing it. You have this path and this path, and that's it. The oracle is like, let's keep playing with it. Let's find out what we can do. Let's mess up the system real quick. Let me bring a whole new philosophy to the people and see what happens. Let me control everything. That's who the oracle is, in my perspective.
Gratitude, Rob. Would you like to share
Mm,
anything?
the Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
The feminine. Uh, a lot of women have that Oracle archetype. They just got to tap in. Usually, that's your intuition. When I hear the Oracle, that's always intuition. When I'm watching the Matrix and I encountered the Oracle for the first time, she very motherly. You know what I'm saying? Imagine your mother. Uh, Imagine having a woke. Imagine having a woke mother. Okay, a lot of times our mothers. Let's be honest. Our parents are not woke. Most of us. If you got some woke parents, then congratulations. Okay, but most of our parents are not are not woke on our level. But just imagine, and this reality is actually coming into play because now that spirituality is booming, the women are getting the knowledge. So the women are becoming oracles for their incoming star seeds or the stars they have right now. So that the oracle, that's definitely that's what it's like a goddess hood when the feminine are coming in and increasing in their vibration and spirituality. All of them are oracles. All you all are oracles.
Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Um, Sagittarius is the oracle.
Sagittarius. It's interesting. Sagittarius.
Yes. Um, the celestial archer. So, like Sagittarius, she is generous, giving of her wisdom to help the human rebels in general, and Morpheus specifically when it comes to his quest to find the one. The oracle is idealistic, providing guidance because she believes in the best possible outcome for all involved. It goes without saying that she possesses a great sense of humor, as seen in multiple scenes. Like when she told Neo that he is cuter than she thought, but ultimately not too bright though. Let's see. Sagittarius may promise more than they can deliver, and that sounds like a fair criticism when it comes to the oracle. In fact, what she promised was the truth, though she delivered the complete opposite. So sounds like some villainistic characteristics that Ramutef mentioned, some villain-like characteristics. Morpheus explains to Neo that the oracle told him exactly what he needed to hear, which was which, while appreciated, is more a manipulation than the truth. Another trait is how undiplomatic, much like her curt and straightforward message to Neo, leading him on the correct path, but perhaps in the wrong mindset. Any feedback?
No, keep going.
All right, what's this guy name?
Oh, he
Well,
had a French name. I can't remember. He had a French name.
looks like Miro Vinjon. Miro Vinjon. I'm guessing. Either way, Capricorn is him.
No,
Capricorn,
he
you
is the. I'm sorry.
Miro Vin.
He's the Gemini. He's the actual Gemini. But keep going. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, talk to us, Ramutef. What you got?
All right, so a lot of his characteristics is he portrays a whole lot like a Gemini. They have to have control over everything. They also have a lover, but they also have multiple other lovers. And then also it's like they have what is called like the canine look. In a sense, so most Geminis have like a canine look. Any Gemini that you see, they have some type of canine type of features as well as certain type of attributes that a canine would have, especially when it comes to mating. So when it comes to this particular dude, the way that he puzzled everything, they're very great thinkers, very great communicators at that, which he is, predominantly that. But yeah, and they call him a Capricorn because he owns businesses and things of that nature. No, 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 no. He's definitely not the Capricorn. He's the Gemini. But I'm sorry, continue.
Gratitude. Gratitude. All right. Let's get here. All right. So moving forward down here, Capricorn, you two are a Matrix villain, though you're at least one of the cooler ones. We've decided you're the best match for the posh and refined program of this character. The smug baddie is actually named for a French dynasty of the same name. That's something else. Well, hold on. Let me know it's not. One which is considered among the first race of the kings of France. A fact that absolutely makes his personality make a lot more sense. When it comes to Sagittarius strengths, he is both responsible and disciplined, doing as much as he can to expand his illicit empire in a measured fashion so as to not receive too much attention from other elements of the matrix. Like Sagittarius, this character exercises self control and makes for a good manager, something that doubtless makes him useful to the matrix prior to his exile. Weaknesses, for starters, he's a complete know it all, which can get on pretty much anyone's nerves. He is also unforgiving. Common trait among know it alls is the tendency to be condescending, which is a criminal understatement when it comes to this character. He also expects the worst, which reinforces his disciplined manner of going about things. Feedback from the panel.
The counselor.
The counselor. All right, is Aquarius. That note. The water bearer is one of those signs that needed a bit of creativity to suss out. At the end of our deliberations, we decided the counselor was the best fit for this particular sign. Aquarians are progressive and may fit that trait well enough when considering his faith in Morpheus's plan. Whereas religion, belief in prophecy would be considered a novel concept. As a member of Zion's High Council, he is independent insofar as his decision making is independent of the wishes of Zion's military leader. He does what he thinks is best for the survival of humanity. And what better pursuit could there be to call someone a humanitarian? Considering Sagittarius, they keep going back to Sagittarius. Sagittarius' weaknesses, we're not sure we would say the counselor runs from emotional expression, but it's certainly fair to say he's stoic in temperament. He is uncompromising, following his heart in a manner and refusing to give in the commander's woeful forecast of doom. One could describe him as aloof. He's prone to taking walks near Zion's core to be alone, and etc., etc., rather than ruminating with his fellow humans about whatever is in his mind. Pisces is cipher.
Okay.
It is with the greatest apologies to all Pisces everywhere that we round out this matrix astrological roundup by declaring cipher the member of the zodiac sign that most closely matches their sign. If you don't like being associated with one of the most shocking movie betrayals of all time, blame the machine. Pisces is compassionate. We tell you cipher is anything but Pisces is typical artistic and musical. Now, all we're really sure of is that cipher can whistle. But we also know that in his negotiations with Agent Smith, he says he wants to come back as someone important, like an actor. Though his intuition is put to ill means, Cypher certainly has it, which is why he's able to surreptitiously meet with Smith and set a trap. Pisces is said to be wise, and we counter that Cypher is cunning, if not wise. While considering Pisces' strengths for Cypher required a broad and generous lens through which to look, he hits the sign's weaknesses pretty consistently. He is fearful of life in the real world, and one could say he was overly trusting. Cypher is certainly sad and fed up with life, giving him a desire to escape reality. While Pisces can be a victim or a martyr, it's safe to say that Cypher has a victim mentality and seeks to re-enter the matrix because, as bleak as the real world can be, ignorance is bliss as a human battery. Any feedback from the panel? Okay, moving forward. Next we have. Oh, that's it. What? Oh, boy, hold on. Did we discuss Capricorn? That's everybody. I didn't see everybody. Either way, that's the article. That's what we have. All right. Yeah, we did do Capricorn. Okay, that's it. So that's the interesting little find I had to share. Ra has stepped out of the studio. Ramutef Queb is still here with me. What's it called? Hold on, y'all. Stand by. We just discussed the Matrix character you are based on your zodiac sign. And Ra's here with us again. So any feedback from the panel? Anything we'd like to discuss before we part ways today? Closing statements.
Closing statements. Listen, say to you all, I shook Wunawar. Please, I'm gonna say it every show. Stay on top of these movies. Okay, the movies are the new Bible. Okay, every movie. Look at it like this: every single movie you see is a page out of the Akashic record. Okay, it's a page out of the Akashic record. Okay, we understand that the Akashic record is a universal library. When you tap into it, you don't read about what happened. You can literally perceive what happened. You can see it with your. It's like watching. It's literally like watching a movie. When you tap into the Akashic, it's like watching a movie, but you're not watching a movie. You're watching a historical event that transpired within the universe. Long story short, that's what the movie. So the movies on this planet are the closest things you will get to the Akashic record. And in this day and age, in age of revelation, you know what I'm saying, the age of Aquarius, things are being revealed, and that's what they're doing. They're revealing the truths in the movies, point blank, period. So with that being said, I say Anuki Powlett. The all is I am. And we send out Ashuk, which is divine love, throughout the boundless universes of the multiverse, of the omniverse, of absolute netta.
I shook. I shook. Ramutef Queb, you here with us? You have anything? Closing remarks, closing statements. All right, so I'm going to share mine. I am Joy Allen of Karmic Dynasty. You can contact me as always. Here's my information in the ticker. I welcome you all here as every time. I appreciate all of you that are here and your comments, your feedback when you like, share, subscribe. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the tributes. I appreciate the thoughts. I appreciate the concern, the support. I appreciate you all.
We
Without you,
appreciate you too.
it is not possible to be here in this capacity. Gratitude, gratitude, Ra. So I am going to leave you all at this time. And Ramotef Queb definitely sends his peaceful, respective closings to you all. And we will actually, you want to see Ramotef Queb, he will be on the 7 o'clock broadcast on Karmic Dynasty. And it actually is the last of the last episode of the courtship series that we're doing tonight. So that's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You want to see more of Ramutef, he will be there. And actually, speaking of the courtship series, Ra himself is here with us, and he has been he is part of the original panel, and he definitely has been a guide behind the scenes for this series. So I appreciate everyone that's been involved in this series. Check us out tonight for the final episode, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is what I have to share. Let me see what's going on over here. Gratitude to you all. Gratitude. And I'm about to go work on some of my DPS. I will see you all 7 p.m. if my camera's on. I appreciate the feedback. Yes, it was a beautiful live. Very, very unscripted. And I like that. So more DPS on the way. I'll see you all next time. Love you all very much, very much. Let me close out here. Close out. Peace.